Welcome back to another episode of the Pickle Pulse. I am your host, Brian Green, and today I have Mr. David Yang, Mr. Tickle, Mr. Tickle my Pickleball.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? In the house. And we are going to geek out on paddles and learn a little bit about his pickleball story. So how are you, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, happy days, dude. Happy days. It's a Sunday morning, last day of the Masters. Are you a big golf fan as well?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You're the second one. I asked LJ the same thing, and he's like, golf? Ugh.
It's not that I don't like it. I'm just not good at it. So
Yeah, it's a tough game. I started when I was like 11, and that was my first sport where I got very competitive. Well, other than baseball.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always psyched for the Masters. It's one of the big tournaments of the year. And we'll see if Scheffler can pull it out at this point.
Gotcha.
So tell me a little bit about your pickleball story, man. I feel like everyone has a similar story where you got smoked by old people, but I'm always intrigued to find out if something changed or something was different for you.
Yeah, I guess like I was introduced to pickleball in like middle school. So I like played it in PE like one time and I was like, this is weird. This is like mini tennis.
Okay.
And then this was like 2022 in the summer. Some of my friends wanted to play a sport together. And so none of them really have a tennis background. So I kind of just smoking everyone. And
Okay.
we were like at the local parks. I was like, what is this? This is kind of fun, but like I feel kind of bad like just destroying my friends. And then there are these like random, I think there were like 4 O's that were next to me and they needed a fourth. And they saw me with my Amazon paddle and they're like, oh, let's invite this guy over. And I actually held my own. Like I lost every match, but like for my first time playing, it wasn't bad. And they were just like really nice to me about like being really welcoming. And then afterwards, like I was going to like other parks, and then sometimes people just let me play with them. I was like, this is such like a welcoming sport, and it's similar enough to tennis, and I'm not getting injured as much. So
Yeah.
that's when I fell in love with it.
That's awesome. You sound like Pickles Paul. He's big on injury. He's like, I was playing tennis and getting injured all the time. Now I can play pickleball forever, and it's the greatest game. So yeah, I would definitely agree. Tell me about your tennis background. Did you play high level? Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I grew up playing tennis. So like from a young age, I played in high school. I had the opportunity to play in college, but ended up just I wanted to focus more on academics, so played on the club team instead at UVA.
Okay, nice. So you went to UVA?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm very impressed. As I have 3 daughters, and we're looking at colleges now, and UVA is a legit school.
Yeah, my parents were like, "Oh, if you guys have to stay in state, you have to go there." So
Yeah.
really pushing for it.
I like it. And so while you were at UVA, there was no pickleball at that. This was probably pre-2020. When did you go to school?
I graduated in 2015, but
Okay.
yeah, I've seen like right now UVA is so big on pickleball.
Yeah, I think the kid David Beeger is out of there, and he's so good and winning a lot of the open stuff. So after you found pickleball, and obviously your tennis skills helped you out there, kind of what were your goals with the sport? Were you immediately in love with it, or were you just kind of like, I'll play this from time to time?
I was immediately in love with it, and
Yeah.
I think I really like the social aspect of it more than like trying to compete. I feel like I'm at a certain age where I don't care too much about competition as some of the other people I play with. But
Okay.
for me, it's more of like a social thing. Like a lot of the friends I have now are from pickleball. I don't know if you know like Danny, Coy, and Christine, but
Oh, yeah.
like I was playing tournaments with Danny, and people were asking like, "Oh, how long have you guys known each other?" I was like, "I met Danny at the park like 2 months ago, and we've just been friends." I mean, I had all of them at my wedding, so yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
he's such a good guy.
Yeah, he actually put me on his shoulders during my wedding.
Oh, wow.
He's like bent over. He's like, "David, come here." I was like, "What's going on?"
Did he squat you with those massive thighs?
Oh yeah, he like sat down, put me on his shoulders, and then stood up and was like carrying me around.
Wow. That's what I was making fun of him the other day, because I was like, man, I think the thighs are getting a little smaller. You're not lifting as much. And he's like,
Which is actually kind of true. 'Cause he's like playing more pickleball.
yeah, he was telling me my shorts fit. And I was like, all right. Nice, man. So you are a paddle reviewer on YouTube. Your channel is Tickle My Pickleball, which is growing and outstanding. And one of the things I love about all of your videos is that you keep them under 10 minutes. They're not super long. There's always play behind it, so quality play. And then everything that you're saying is top notch. So what I wanted to accomplish today is, could you help my viewers learn a little bit about the paddle reviewing process? So there's 2 terms that people use a lot: swing weight and twist weight. What do those mean, and what do they mean for someone that's buying a paddle?
So swing weight is basically like the effort it takes to swing a paddle. So
Okay.
the higher that number is, the more effort is going to be required.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on the certain shapes, but let's say you want to put like an elongated paddle, like that groove in you have up there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to average around like 120 to 122.
Okay.
And then if you're going to go a bit heavier, that's when you have like a carbon 1X, which is probably like 124.
Mm-hmm.
Like 116 is where you get hybrid shapes like your ruby, double black diamonds. And then under that is like your standard shape paddles. So like the Yola Scorpius.
Okay.
So based on the shape and like the weight distribution, then the swing weight can like vary.
Okay. And so if you're looking for a lighter paddle, the elongated is always going to be the heaviest of the three.
Usually, yes.
Okay. And then that's if you have like a lot of tennis elbow. I know people need lighter paddles. If you're just not as strong and you want to have a little more swing speed. So that would make sense for those people to not look at an elongated paddle. You know, the funny thing is when I look at paddles, I visually like the way an elongated paddle looks. I'm just like, man, that seems like you would have the best advantage because you've got a little more reach. It should swing through the air. But I was just listening to a pod where Colin Johns was talking about his Scorpius.
Yeah.
And he said that anyone that's a 4.5, 4.0 or less should be playing with a traditional shape simply because it enlarges the sweet spot and allows you to make more mistakes with the ball still getting over the net.
So that's one thing people say about a standard shape paddle. And I think that's something that a lot of people get wrong is like the sweet spot's enlarging. It's like, yes, it's enlarging, but only on the horizontal axis.
Okay.
But if you're talking about like the vertical axis, then the elongated paddle actually has something similar in my opinion.
Okay.
Because you have that reach versus that you do have a wider sweet spot, but you don't have a longer one. And so something like a Scorpius compared to a Perseus, that's a 0.5 inch difference.
Okay.
But that sweet spot isn't a 0.5 inch difference like down under. Like it doesn't go from like 16.5 down to 16 and like that's a 0.5 inch difference. The thing is the weight distribution is also different. So the sweet spot is actually lower than that 0.5 inch of the overall length.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's something people don't understand. They're like, it's wider in that if you hit off center on that horizontal axis, the paddle won't twist as much and we'll get into twist weight later. But
Yeah.
you have that wider sweet spot, but you don't have as much reach. And that's where you're losing out on sweet spot as well.
Okay. Okay. And I would say most 4.0 players are hitting the sweet spot like 2 out of 5 times they hit the ball anyway. And that's why, to me, what Colin said made sense as far as if you're hitting the ball all over the place, you just want a forgiving paddle. It's kind of, again, I'm going back to golf, and I know you're not a golfer, so I'm sorry. But a lot of people that play or watching do, and that's it. If you're not hitting the ball in the center a lot, you want to get a more forgiving club.
Yeah.
Something with a cavity back versus a blade. And so I think pickleball paddles are definitely moving in that direction, in that there's so many of them and so many choices, and you just have to try and figure out the ones that work best for you and your game at the time. So tell me just a little bit about twist weight and how that affects the paddle and why that would be relevant, because I feel like twist weight a year and a half ago wasn't even really talked about that much, and now it's a very prevalent thing in the paddle review world.
Yeah, so this is more of like a tennis term, and all of these like swing weight and twist weight, this is coming back from these are all just like tennis metrics. So there are machines for tennis rackets where you can measure swing weight and twist weight, and I actually own one of them. So I have the Profiti, and so for swing weight, you just kind of put it in, and then it'll like swing the paddle back and forth, and then it'll give you a number.
Is it like a pendulum type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a twist weight attachment, so you like put the thing in, and like for mine, like it's actually built for tennis rackets, but then you get like a pickleball adapter.
Okay.
So for a twist weight, it just measures like the horizontal stability, like I mentioned earlier. So if you're hitting off center, then how much is it going to twist? So like a lower twist weight number means it's less forgiving than something that's like a standard shape, like the Scorpius, like Colin John's paddle. That's gonna have a high twist weight versus something like the Perseus is gonna have a lower one.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense because it's more narrow with the wider body. It's going to allow it to be a little more stable if you're not hitting it dead center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And then, so with the twist weight, is the actual shape going to affect it dramatically, or could twist weights of an elongated paddle and a traditional shape be very similar based on weighting and how you put tape on it and things like that?
Based on weight, you can actually make it similar, but then at the same time, you're also increasing the swing weight. So you can add tape to the sides and increase the twist weight, but swing weight's going to go up.
Okay. So there's always a give and a take there.
Yeah.
So you try to find like the base paddle that you like the best and then stick with it.
Yeah, and then there are like optimal places to put it to increase as much twist weight as you can without decreasing the swing weight. So I think that's the 8 and 4 o'clock positions.
And that's kind of where I put mine down in there as well. Is it just it increases the twist weight is what my understanding is, but doesn't dramatically increase the swing weight of the paddle when you put it down there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that seems to be what everybody's kind of recommending, to start with your weighting and then move from there.
Yeah. Pickleball Effect, another reviewer. So he actually put them on all different configurations and saying like, if you're just putting it here, this is like the most gain for twist weight, but the least gain for the swing weight.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And that's Braden. Is that
Braden.
Yeah. I'm such a pod geek. I watch them all. So tell me a little bit about your channel, like how you came up with the idea, what you're looking to do with it. It's growing and growing. I'm very impressed with it, and that's why I wanted to have you on. And you're getting better and better every time I play with you too. Your two-handed backhand's pretty legit. So just tell me a little bit about what you're doing in the pickleball world.
So I started the channel mainly because I've always been interested in paddle reviews and just reviews of products in general. So when I buy something, I want to have the most information. And pickleball at that time, back summer 2022, there weren't as many reviewers and even less reviewers that you could really trust, because a lot of people were just pushing the product. And so Chris Olsen from the Pickleball Studio was one of the big ones I was a fan of, because I watched one of his videos and he was just openly tearing into companies. He made his tier list and he was like, Adidas, this is terrible. And I would have never known because all other reviewers were like, oh, this Adidas power is great. But I wouldn't know until I tried it out. But I trusted Chris Olsen. And one of his reviews that really stuck to me was he did the Carbon 1X.
Okay.
And that's the first thermoform paddle that came out. Well, not the first one that came out, but first one that became popular.
That was the one that was delaminating early on a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he brought up the Carbon 1X and said, like, this is probably one of the best paddles right now for a 16 millimeter. It's got great power. It's got, you could control it well for a 16. And it was just overall like a good paddle. And so I was really excited. But one thing he said at the end was that there are 3 other brands that are doing the same thing. There's 60, Vatic, and Legacy. So all 4 of those were like the first like thermoform paddles that we were kind of aware of on the market. And for me, I was like, well, why would I get the Carbon, which is like, I think 230, and then the Vatic was like a 140.
Yeah, I was going to say Vatic came in and beat everyone on price.
Yeah, so I was like, why? Like, are you going to review the Vatic? And then he was like, oh yeah, I'll probably review it eventually. And I like waited a month, just like every other reviewer. And I was like, okay, when are you going to review it? And then that's when I thought, why don't I just do it myself?
Yeah.
Like, I was playing at that 3540 level. I probably, represented a big chunk of his viewers, like in terms of playing level. So I felt maybe my opinion could like help some people. So I went on and I bought both, and that's my first video on the channel was Carbon versus Vatic. Like, what's the difference?
Okay.
And, looking back, it's like this video is terrible because it was meant to help people. I was not trying to grow a channel.
Okay.
So if you look, like, I was scared to show my face. I didn't know what I was saying. I was like, yeah, this comes off the face like faster than the other one. I don't really know how to describe it. So I didn't know what pop was. But yeah, that's basically how the channel started. And in terms of like the name, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, oh, well, I was playing in a 3-5 tournament. I'll be 3-5 pickleball reviews.
Okay.
But Chris Olsen has that whole 3-5 at best meme. So people thought I was related to him.
Oh,
and then so they were like, oh, Chris, is this your channel? I was like, okay, I got to change it. I don't want to get in his way. And the group chat I play in pickleball was called Tickle My Pickle.
Okay.
And then so I was like, all right, let's make it Tickle My Pickleball. And then the views started going up, and I was like, okay, I don't think I can change it anymore.
No. I mean, I think it's so unique because, right, if you're scrolling through YouTube, probably like I am occasionally, and looking at the other guys who are doing what we're doing, your channel name is so unique compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
So it immediately makes you stand out. And, I have a sales career. That's what I did and still do for a long time. And one of the insurance guys that I dealt with he's like, you just have to separate yourself from the pack. You just have to do something, look different, be different. Like he used to send a block of wood to prospective clients with a handwritten letter attached to it that said something relevant to the block of wood, but it was random and odd. And he's like, it works. It really works to be different. So I think that's really cool. I actually like that. That was your first paddle review too, because the Vatic versus Carbon, I mean, that's something that people need to know because, you don't have to spend more to get a good paddle these days. It seems like there's a lot of manufacturers out there that are making quality paddles and not asking $250, $300 for it.
Yeah, because one thing is that a lot of these paddles are actually made in the same factory. Like the Perseus, one of the paddles that I have on the channel is called like Picklin. They made the Helios paddle. That's the one Zach uses.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach was using the Perseus, and I gave him the Helios. I was like, try this out. It's literally made in the same factory. I have a picture that they sent me of the factory accidentally put the SLK like Halo overgrip on the Helios and put it in a Perseus packaging, and then it had. But the paddle face itself was the the Helios. And the guy sent it to me. He's like, "Yeah, this is proof that we're all in the same factory because the factory messed up and did this."
Absolutely. They put 3 different company stuff on one paddle.
Yeah.
That's actually, it reminds me of baseball card days. Like, I don't know, you're probably a little younger than I am, but back when you collected baseball, occasionally a company would drop a card that was a total mistake. Like, there was, who was it? It's not Mark McGuire. I think it was Cal Ripken Jr.
Oh, okay.
And he had a baseball bat and he's holding it, and the bottom of the bat, it said FUCK.
Oh.
And that card was worth like a couple $100 because only a couple of them got out. So that's what that paddle should be worth. You need to keep it in the box and be like, check it out.
Yeah.
So right now is an very interesting time in the paddle world in that I think there are a ton of really nice paddles out there, but there are like 4 or 5 new paddles dropping in the next month or 2.
Yeah.
What kind of what paddles are you excited to see and try out? And then second part of the question is, of the paddles that were dropped last year, what are your favorite 2 or 3 paddles?
Okay. We'll start with like what I'm going to be reviewing in the future. So what I like to do is kind of group it based on like the shape or like the type. And so I'll do that for like the next few weeks.
Okay.
And so right now, my focus is going to be on wide body paddles or standard shapes because I'm getting the Spartus Apollo, and then I'm going to do a comparison with the Volair Mach 1 Forza. So just keeping everything like standard shape, so I'm just used to that, and so I don't complain that the sweet spot's like small because I don't have that reach anymore. And then after that, the big thing is Kevlar right now.
Yeah.
So the Thrive Azul is on the list because the Apollo is also Kevlar. So it's like it goes Apollo to the Thrive, and then 11624. They also came out with a Kevlar.
Okay. Everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. The Ruby's done so well; it's kind of a no-brainer to jump into that world.
Yeah, even though the Ruby was actually second, it was Pickleball Apes did the first Kevlar.
Oh, they did. That's right. The Energy or whatever it was.
Yeah, Proline Energy.
Yeah. No, that was. I haven't hit that paddle. Mike Strain says good things about it. Yeah, I take it. Did you review it?
Yeah, so they have 2 different shapes. One's that extra elongated, so it's like 17 inches.
Whoa.
That was actually their first one, which is like really nice. It just feels like really great on drives because you got that extra length, and the handle was super long too.
Does it feel super heavy at the kitchen line though? I feel like I'd get body bagged with an extra long paddle.
Enough was that their weight distribution was, so the swing weight was only around like 120.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's not a paddle that was really talked about out there. So if you want heavy drives and you want something that's not super heavy, maybe that's one to look at because I have never even heard of that extra long paddle.
Yeah. And then they also released it in the hybrid shape. So it was like 16.4 for the second one.
Okay.
And like so the thing that they did is like it's a Kevlar blend, and it's actually softer feeling than like most carbon fiber paddles.
Oh yeah, that's why I like the Kevlar. I feel like the dwell time on the Kevlar is just a little more. It doesn't pop off quite as fast, and I like that, the feel at the net and on resets.
Yeah, so it depends on how the Kevlar is being applied.
Okay.
Because there's one thing about Kevlar right now, it's like it's become such a buzzword, but if you look at all the different Kevlar paddles out there, some of them are what you describe as you're getting more dwell time. And that's what you get from the Apes paddle and the Ruby. But then you have paddles like the Kinetic and the Azul, which are a bit poppier. So it's all dependent on like how the Kevlar is being applied to the paddle.
Well, my Azul arrives in like a week, I hope. So I'm going to have something coming out on that. And I'm excited because I do want a little bit more counter pop at the kitchen. Just guys love to attack me. And if I can counter and just make it go back at them a little bit faster, I think it'd be effective for my game. Yeah. How about the new Yola that's coming out? The Alpha. I think that I've heard that is going to be a gearbox like psycho power paddle.
Yeah, I heard I think it's the Magnus.
Oh, is it Magnus or is it Alpha?
I don't know actually. I thought it was Magnus. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually don't really work with the bigger brands. That's one thing I do on the channel is I focus more on like smaller brands and companies.
Okay.
I say that, but it's also because the bigger ones ignore me.
That's fair. I reached out to 6-0. They said, no, sir.
Yeah, so I usually, but I'll give like fair comparison sometimes. But anyways, yeah, I don't work with Yola. I'll probably demo someone's.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's like, it's more powerful. And one thing is that people say it's more advanced. So it's going to be harder to reset with because it's so poppy and powerful.
Yeah, well, that was my problem with the gearbox is that, hitting a slice return got away from me really quickly. And then also resetting. Yeah, it was tough to have a soft enough grip to make that a soft paddle.
Yeah, but one that's actually coming out soon is the Rhombus Ripple. I don't know if you've heard of that. So Rhombus has been working on this for about like maybe over a year now. But it's essentially, you know how EVA foam is illegal inside the core. What they're doing is like their own proprietary a blend of EVA foam with other composite like materials. And so that's like, they got it approved by USAP. And so theoretically, this is going to hit really hard.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Didn't Rhombus, they put out an EVA foam paddle, but it was illegal to use. You could just buy it, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Those are like straight illegal. This one's like a legal EVA foam. So it's like not going to hit as hard, but still it's going to hit harder. And like, do you know Han? Yeah, he
doesn't need to hit harder.
Yeah, he's been asking me about this like every day.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't need to hit harder. Calm it down, Han. You already have a crazy drive that we all struggle with. That's awesome. So that actually brings me, and I do want to get back to your favorite paddles of last year, but that brings me to something else that I wanted to talk to you about is, what do you think about pickleball starting to get a little more stringent on paddle rules and how fast the ball is going to be able to come off? Because I feel like the tech is getting better and better very quickly, and it's going to change the game. It's already starting to change the game at like our level, the 4.550. You see a lot less dinking unless guys are hitting really good drops and making you do it and just speed up central.
Yeah, personally for me, I don't like the game getting faster, mainly because if I wanted to play like drive every like point, I would just play tennis. And I feel like it kind of removes part of the strategy with the dinking and like the consistency that people are drilling with, and it's just gives the advantage to whoever can like speed up really fast and whoever has the best tech in the paddle. Yeah, it kind of gets to the point where how are these companies going to innovate? And then right now it's just like we're innovating by adding more power.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% in that one of the things I love about the game is the chess match. What is the word? The chess match aspect of the game. And when you are hitting the ball so hard, it takes away the ability to be able to think in between points, to be able to hit drops, to move people around in the kitchen. And I think longer points are more fun to watch. But if it's a dink fest, I'll counter what I just said. If it's a dink fest, it's not fun. So it's trying to find that kind of happy median where they're still going to be dinking, but the paddles aren't so hot that it's just fire through everybody in front of you. Yeah. So kind of to close it out a little bit here, what are your favorite paddles of 2023? What are the paddles that you think people should be looking at? And is it possible that you could break it down by level, like 3.5s, 4.0s, 4.5s, or if that's just ridiculous, tell me and you can just recommend it.
I think if you're just starting into the sport, the paddle I recommend to everyone is the Vatic Prism series. I think there's just so many options there. You've got the Flash if you want something that's lighter to swing. This comes in 14 and 16 millimeters.
Okay.
You've got the V7, which has a long handle and like the 5.3 inch handle. That's in that elongated shape. So if you like that, I think that the Vatic Flash 16 millimeter, the Prism, that one's just like a great overall paddle for anyone to pick up.
And these are thermoformed paddles that are under $150, right?
They are not the thermoform ones.
So it's a Gen 1.
It's a Gen 1.5. Okay. So it's basically, it still has the edge foam in the perimeter. So like the Hyperion. So it gives you that like perimeter weighting for this larger sweet spot.
Okay.
But it's built better than a Hyperion, that it's more durable. It's like actually unibody, so you're not gonna have to worry about the handle snapping at the paddle face.
Okay.
It's just like a really well-constructed paddle, good control paddle for $100, which is a really good deal.
It's good to hear you say that, because that is the paddle I recommend to everyone when they're like, what paddle should I buy? Because I know that it's a quality paddle at a low price.
Yeah.
So good stuff. What about like the higher level guy that's looking to get something a little different?
I guess it depends on, like, if you do want, even if you are high level and if you just want control, I still recommend the Batic Prism series. But if you want thermoformed, I really like the Thrive paddles because I think that's just overall great quality control. Like if their twist weight number isn't high enough on that paddle, they just don't sell it.
Okay.
And you can choose your swing weight. So it's just, you can just customize that thing. So I think in the elongated shape, if you want like a thermoform paddle and you just know what swing weight you want thermoformed, definitely Thrive in that 13 or 16 millimeter options.
The Rush 13, although man, that is a poppy paddle.
Yeah.
There's no dwell to that.
Yeah, that's why it's like more advanced. If you want like a good all-around paddle, I like the 6-year double black diamond.
Yeah. I agree. And then I'll say that after playing with the black diamond and playing with the ruby now for the past 3 months, the ruby has a tad bit more pop and a little bit more dwell time, I feel like. I may or may not be right, but ruby's an excellent choice as well. And they're the same price, right? $199 for both, or is the black diamond like $230?
Double black diamond and black diamond are a bit cheaper. They're like $180, I want to say, and the ruby's $200.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I still think a pretty good price for, especially comparatively to some of the big dogs like Selkirk who want stupid money for paddles these days.
Yeah, and I guess if you want like the quick to swing paddles, then there's I like the Spartus Ballista. I think that's a pretty underrated paddle.
Okay.
That's one of those like edgeless ones. That's nice. And then if you want standard shape, I like the Yola Scorpius is a good one, but the cheaper option brand is the Sword and Shield J3, which is basically the same thing, but like $100 cheaper.
Oh, lovely. Okay. There's good nuggets for you right there.
Yeah.
Saved you $100. And the new paddle that just dropped, the wide body, that's the Kevlar face.
Apollo.
The Apollo. You haven't reviewed that one yet?
No, still waiting for it to ship.
Okay, yeah, because I'm intrigued by that one as well. I've heard some really good stuff out there, and I haven't played with the wide body in a long time, and I don't know if I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I do want to hit it and see what's going on with it.
Yeah, it's like trending there because people want those fast hands. So, I mean, I don't know. I personally don't like that shape, because I always just miss my dink at the kitchen. It's like, oh, my sweet spot's so much shorter now.
Well, to finish up, man, I always like to ask guys, what are your goals for the rest of the year? For your play, for your channel, just in general, what are you looking to accomplish?
Honestly, like for me, pickleball is just for fun.
Okay.
And I think that's why whenever people ask me to play in the men's league, I'll tell them like, hey, I'm using this league to review paddles. It's so I can shoot footage in a controlled environment. We're playing indoors using the same ball against high level people. We may or not win all the time. Yeah. But it's, for me, pickleball is a more fun thing. I don't play a lot of tournaments. It's more, I want to help out these smaller brands, get their name out there and just increase my knowledge of paddles, just help people out. So for me, like the channel is more of a side hustle. I do it for fun. That's one thing my wife always tells me. If you don't enjoy it at sometimes, just don't do it. So there could be like spans where I'm not reviewing paddles just because I'm bored, or I get like burnt out saying the same thing for some of the same paddle companies. And it's just, it's just, I just have to remind myself, I'm doing this for fun. Sometimes I'm just doing it to help other people, help people make better decisions when buying paddles, help people save money. So that's just my main goal for pickleball and the channel itself.
That's awesome, man. That is all. And it is really good to hear that coming from someone else, because I've been doing this for 4 months now, and I've already had a moment or two where I'm like, why are you stressed about something that is supposed to be fun and it's a hobby?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's like, don't be stressed about it. It's all good. Well, good luck to you in the rest of the year, man. I look forward to hearing all the paddle reviews. I'm already subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, you definitely should. I'll put a little link here to his channel. And you can get a quality review and you can figure out which paddle you want in about 8 to 10 minutes. And David really knows his stuff, and that's why I wanted to have him on.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Have a great day, guys.